Yes, I like your tie. It's very
Thank
festive.
you.
I like it.
I like it too. This is my special tie, to get questions at briefings.
Well, there you go. It worked, clearly.
To be recognized.
It worked, yes.
My name is Andrei Sitov. I'm with TASS, the Russian news agency. Thank you for doing the briefing. We do look forward to many more. Thanks for our friends at the FPC for hosting it. A couple of things on Ukraine. First off, and I quote, you said about 20 seconds ago, there needs to be room for dissent, there needs to be room for opposition, unquote. The Ukrainian Parliament has just taken steps, the Ukrainian government supports those steps to dissolve their Communist Party. Isn't it stifling the opposition, the criticism?
Well, a few points. I do believe what you're referring to is draft legislation that hasn't been approved that would ban the Communist Party. The Communist Party is not banned in Ukraine today. We do believe that all peaceful voices should be heard anywhere. So obviously that's something we feel is important in Ukraine and elsewhere. We will continue looking at the draft legislation as it goes through the process. But again, as of today, the Communist Party is not banned in Ukraine.
Support the ban? Do you support the ban?
As I said, we're not taking a position on the legislation other than to say that all peaceful voices should be heard in Ukraine.
And secondly, and more importantly, obviously, with the tragic loss of the Malaysian airplane, the Russian Defense Ministry have released their own tracking data and have called on others, specifically on the United States, to release yours. The tracking data from, I understand it's from their satellites, from what they saw from their satellites on that particular day, and they claim that there was a U.S. satellite directly above that spot on that particular day. Maybe a coincidence, maybe not. Again, have you seen their data, what you think about their information? And secondly, can we expect you to release yours?
Well, we have released, up to this point, our assessment about what happened, and we've released as much information as we can at this point that we've been able to declassify that underlies that assessment. So we are continuing to work through releasing more, but I just make a few points, and then if you have follow-ups, we can. You wore the tie today, we can keep talking, so that's okay. So first, we, based on a variety of information, believe that this was an SA-11 fired from an area controlled by Russian separatists inside Ukraine. We have released a photo which has the trajectory of that missile. Based on classified information, we can't get into how we know that. We have released that. We have also released additional information about why the two alternative theories put forward by the Russians are not plausible. The first being that it was a Ukrainian Su-25 fighter that shot down the aircraft. Very briefly, the reasons we do not believe that this is plausible is because the only missiles it carries are short-range infrared-guided missiles. Ground photography from the crash site is consistent with expected damage from a surface-to-air missile of the kind the separatists have indeed used and bragged about having. Does not correspond to the kind of what we would expect to see from an air-to-air missile such as the Su-25 has. So we have put forward our assessment based on a variety of information about why we believe that it indeed was an SA-11 fired from Russian-controlled separatist area. We believe an investigation needs to go forward to determine exactly who had their finger on the trigger. We still don't know that, don't know the intentions behind why they did this. So we think an investigation should continue, but we will continue to put out more information as we are able to do so. Do you want the microphone? Should we wait?
Have you seen the data released by the Russians?
I've seen some of the information put out by the Russians. Again, we feel very strongly in our assessment of what happened.